Do you remember hundreds of years ago when you would get on a bus and go to the mall and go in a game store and buy a video game and then go home and play the video game, and that was it? It wasn't a horrible sci-fi nightmare scenario involving red tape and legal grey areas and the opinions of thousands of strangers. I don't. We recently dove heroically into this world of Tekken 7 hacking together, and the video actually got some attention, seems to have gotten some people talking, which is really cool. But then the Lydia content patch came out and there have been developments, and it is funny. I just want to say that once we're done with the cheating arc of the Tekken 7 story, I'm going to go back to not talking about stuff happening in the real world and showing tweets and stuff. It's normally something that I never do because apart from this channel, social media and like public discourse in general is just a world that I want no part in. And I think a lot of people who watch my videos appreciate that. It's kind of a place where you can come and leave your brain at the door. But first of all, I didn't buy Lydia. I promised that I wouldn't, and it was a really difficult promise to keep because she's really fucking cool, and probably really fucking overpowered, because, you know, of course she is. I said that then as if like we're used to it and it's fine. We are used to it, but I just want to point out that it isn't fine. It's still completely inexcusable, but moving on. Did you see any content, for example, on YouTube of Lydia being played in-game over 20 hours before she was supposed to be available to anybody on PC? I did, and it was confusing, but then I learned that unlocking gated content for yourself or flat out pirating content patches onto your computer are just more magical things you can do when you've become a pro Tekken 7 hacker. But then something really surprising happened. The night before the patch, the development side of Tekken started tweeting about bans and hacks and cheating. Here are some of the tweets from, I think, the evening before, and I think the one in the middle here is really interesting. And uploading moveless to YouTube are the especially dumb ones. Still copyrighted IP, so we can probably get YouTube to strike their account though. Bad syntax, but still really ominous, right? But I guess maybe it's not that surprising that Namco feel they have to say or do something, because when you're just allowing yourself access to paid content that isn't supposed to be released yet, it's kind of theft, I guess. I don't know. It's just a really bad look for them to do nothing and say nothing about hacking and cheating for many years, and people have been suffering for those years, and then the first time they come out and do anything, it's when they are suffering, they are the ones being impacted, and not the player base. We then had this tweet asking us to forget about past cheating, end quote, and only report on cheating occurring after the release of patch 4.10. And this again is probably something that makes complete sense and is just unfortunately worded. When I saw this, I immediately assumed that, oh, along with the content patch, they must have released some sort of software into the game that will prevent cheating, and so now they want to know about cheating that is happening after that. What kind of cheating can still occur despite what they have already done? But it's not like people are just going to magically understand that that is what you mean. It would be a good idea to maybe, you know, say it. I feel more and more like what Namco really need is like a good spin doctor. My services are available, but you probably don't like me very much if you are aware of me, and I get that. It's okay. I don't think I like you very much anymore either, but that has nothing to do with this. And then finally we had this tweet from Harada confirming that I was right. I wish I was right less often. It would make it more difficult to be so hopelessly cynical. But Harada is confirming here that some sort of anti-cheat software or mechanism has been implemented into the game. And if that is true, it's really, really good news. It's amazing. I think the only thing we need along with that, if it's going to be working, is another one of these rank resets like the one we had at the start of Season 4 to flush out all of the fake rankers and cheaters currently infesting the system, you know, because they can just sit on the ranks that they already have unless they get their data corrupted, which seems to be very common these days. Are you still getting like game crashes when you tab out of the game? I still get that, like, you know, every 10 times I try and tab out even after the patch, which is really annoying. If you know of a fix for that, I'd really love to know, because I need to change my music in between matches. I think we're going to look at a final tweet here. This one is from today, and it's funny for several reasons. This is not how quotation marks work, but I'm willing to, I mean, I don't know, but I'm willing to assume that thousands of people hacked Lydia before she was released. But according to this tweet, Namco managed to apprehend some guy, and they are thinking about taking some sort of action against him in the not very near future. I'm just fucking around, by the way, when I'm like pointing out bad English and stuff like this. It's a difficult language. My own obviously isn't perfect. I don't want any of these things I'm saying to be like ad hominem. I never want to do that. I just think it's funny that these are like the official public statements of like $1 billion corporation. But I'm completely convinced that if I was able to like sit down and I guess have a drink or something, you know, in a real world scenario, like people, not like social media and public, you know, and all this dog shit with either of these two men, and just talk about tech, and it would probably be eye-opening and lovely, and I really mean that. It's just weird how you do nothing for so long and then start posturing in this strange way on social media without really having anything to show for it yet. It's interesting how people have just gotten so completely comfortable with Namco doing nothing that they were happy to upload obviously hacked content to YouTube and get like thousands of views on it. That is how convinced people are that Namco do not give a shit. That is how comfortable the hackers have become. Speaking of hackers that are very, very comfortable, do you guys want to see something really, really funny? I mentioned that earlier video I did on hacking, and earlier today when I was having my lunch in the park underneath my favorite lunch tree, which is blooming right now and very beautiful, I went back and looked at some of the comments in the comment section on that earlier video, and I found some really interesting ones. First of all, I had this comment from a new YouTube user called Julia Albert. First of all, Julia Albert is just like totally a name for a disposable character from a Resident Evil game. I'm convinced there's art somewhere out there of Julia Albert 69ing with Jill Valentine. But Julia Albert is actually promoting and advertising the services of a hacker in my comment section. And she thinks he's very good, this guy called Pro Brian Hacker, because unlike other hackers, I suppose this guy is not going to scam you and steal your money. So that's very good, I suppose. And then the lovely Judy Bruce chimes in, and she also thinks that you should go to Pro Brian for all of your hacking needs because of how trustworthy he is. And Sarah Jo agrees, by the way. I looked this guy up on Instagram. He's a real person. He's got hundreds of followers, and he can do all kinds of things for you, from hacking tech into hacking credit cards. Now, I'm not dumb enough that I'm going to start messing with a real-life Pro Brian hacker in one of my videos, so I'm just going to say I hope we're cool, dude. Consider this a free promo for your services in exchange for making me laugh out loud on my lunch break. The one thing that is still sort of vexing me and I'm thinking about and that I want you guys to comment on and help me understand is, why do all of these synthetic women commenting have a generic English female name for their first name and then a generic English male name for a last name? Is that some sort of clever pro hacker way of tricking some sort of algorithm? I don't know, but it's really, really fun to think about. Thank you so much for watching this, and I'll see you guys again very soon.